We're going to examine two basic controls which can represent text, TextBox and label. Actually, we also will take a look at the TextBlock, which is not a control, it's a primitive element. Rich TextBox is out of the scope of this course. Let's start with the TextBlock. There's a couple of properties which are related to any text, which can be displayed on the screen: font family, font size, font style, font weight, and font stretch. TextBlock supports all the properties. Text trimming is the other interesting property of a TextBlock. It sets the way to trim the text if it exceeds TextBlock boundaries. I've set it here to character ellipses. In order to look at how it works, let's manually set the width of this TextBlock. You can see that TextBlock displays ellipses at the end. The peculiarity of the TextBlock class is that its content property contains a collection of elements of type run. These run objects sometimes can be referred as in lines. You can set the current text of the TextBlock like this. Run text hello world. If you want to break the line, you can use line break like this. Okay, let's move to the TextBox control. TextBox is a control which you'll use very often. It allows you to type in an arbitrary text. TextBox stores its text in the text property of type string. It provides out-of-the-box cut, copy, paste, undo, redo commands and spell checking as a bonus feature. If you haven't set the size of a text box explicitly, then it will grow so far as user is typing text in. If you explicitly set the width property and text doesn't fit, then it will be cropped. If you want to wrap the text, then you can set the text wrapping property. It takes two possible values, wrap and wrap with overflow. Actually, TextBlock also provides wrapping functionality. Let's examine how spell checking and wrapping works in practice. Here's an example of how wrapping works. In the first case, with no wrap setting, text which exceeds the width of the text box is just cropped. In the second example, it breaks the long word. In the third example, it wraps the sentence, but it doesn't wrap the long word. The last text box turns on the spell checking. Before .NET 4.6, spell checking feature supported only 4 languages: English, Spanish, French, and German. Since .NET 4.6, it supports more languages. I'll attach the hyperlink where you can look at the full list. Let's take a look at what the label control is. Label can contain anything because it's a content control, but it always contains only text because of two features usually used together. Label supports access keys and redirecting the focus to a specific control. Our label sets its content to underscore input. The next letter right after the underscore sets the access key. If you press Alt plus I, then the focus will be redirected to the control, which is defined by the property target. In our case, I've set it to the last text box. Let's run the app and press Alt plus I. As you can see, it works. Now the focus is on the last text box, named input.txt. Okay, in the next lecture we will take a look at image control.